All right. Yeah, I think I have it set on continuous for some strange reason. I don't know how I managed that. And then in verse 23, it goes further. I will show how holy and great my name is, the name on which you brought shame among the nations. And when I reveal my holiness through you before their very eyes, says the sovereign Lord, then the nations will know that I am the Lord. Again, God repeats the fact, you brought shame. You brought shame to my name. I didn't want to put you in exile, but because of your wickedness, because of your evil, I had to put you in exile, and now my name is being dragged through the mud. My name is being profaned, and it's because of you. But God not only puts the people in exile, but he is going to show his power of restoration, his power of renewal through these very same people who had profaned his name. In other words, God chastises. Yes, God punishes. But God also restores. And the reason that he gives restoration is not because we've been so good. It's because his name is so powerful and so holy. Now, of course, if we were to look at this through a set of New Testament eyes, we could say that not because we deserved it, but because he loves us so much. Not that we did it so much right, but because of his loving kindness, because of his mercy. And even in the Old Testament with the Psalms, I believe it was David that sung in one of his Psalms that God's mercy is everlasting, and that he does not chastise forever. So there is a message here that yes, God is going to give the people back the land, but the underlying theme is it's not for any good that you've done. And the reason why he is doing this is to show all of the other nations that he is the Lord. And again, you talk about the different takeovers between one nation and another. The nation that conquers the other people is usually the nation that imposes their God on everyone else. We've seen this with the Egyptians. We've certainly seen this with the Greco-Roman people. And indeed, with Babylon, there was a sense of trying to instill their faith and their belief on others. Fortunately, of course, we had Daniel and his three companions to influence Nebuchadnezzar that was the wrong direction. But when God restores, in particular, Judah and Jerusalem, this gives a notice to all of the other kingdoms that this God is indeed a great God. That this God cares for and restores. And kind of like with us, because we have gone through those times in our lives, I don't care if it's in our jobs, our friendships, perhaps our marital relationships, where we fall so dead flat on our faces that the people who hate us, the people who despise us, they the first ones, and I thought they were such a good Christian. I see God ain't look out for them. They must not prayed enough. They must not have been tithing. But yet and still, God has a way of lifting us up when we fall. And he does it in a way that is so incredible, so unbelievable, so awesome, that all of those folk that were laughing at us, sneering at us, calling us everything else but a child of God had to shut up and say, okay, apparently God is in that person's life. They ain't no way in the world they could have rose from a failure like that and now look at the success that they're having. There's no way that they could have been in a disaster like that and now look at the way they've rebuilt. So we see God doing this for his name's sake, not because of any good that we have done, but because his name is so holy, his name is so powerful, and he seeks to protect, just like we want to protect our good name, just like we want to protect our credit and our credibility. So does God do the same with his restoration power. Not his conquering, but his restoration power. His restoration power. Any questions or comments at this point?
I was wondering, was there ever a time that the covenant that was made between God and people were ever kept?
Never perfectly. Never perfectly. David, to a degree, except for his personal failure. Solomon, until his age and his wives caught up with him. Josiah before Hezekiah. Josiah in Israel, up to the point where he didn't destroy the golden bull statues. And Hezekiah, up until his death, there were those times where it seemed like everything was going right. There were those times where it seemed like people had finally turned the corner and learned to do right. But we're humans. We're humans. We're not going to get it right all the time. Okay, camera. So that was an interesting question. Was there ever a time?
Was there ever a time? Because even right now.
Oh yeah, even right now.